Alright guys, one of Demayer's writers here, back with another video, and in this one I would like to talk about Tales of the Walking Dead, and 5 episodes I would like to see. Before I get into my list, remember to subscribe and like the video. This is the first of 3 Walking Dead videos I currently have planned, but the other 2 probably won't be coming out for another few months since we have a lot of great content planned for you guys. One will be on seasons 7 and 8, and where I will discuss how I would fix them, and the other will be about what I would like to see from the future of the Walking Dead universe. Thought I'd get this show out of the way because since this one could take a while. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Back in September, AMC announced that The Walking Dead would be ending with a supersized season 11. They also announced a Carol and Daryl-led spin-off and another anthology spin-off called Tales of the Walking Dead. It will contain anywhere from 1 to 5 or so episode arcs with new and old characters from the Walking Dead universe. In this video, I would like to go over a list I compiled of 5 episodes, which I think would be pretty cool. Some are more likely than others, but they all sound great. Just 2 quick disclaimers. First, you may notice there are a couple seemingly obvious ideas that will be left off this list. That is because I have plans to discuss them in my What I Want from the Future of the Walking Dead Universe video. Secondly, just a warning for spoilers for The Walking Dead, and very mild spoilers for Fear the Walking Dead. Now let's get into the list. The first idea is the rise of the Governor and Woodbury. Of all the ideas on this list, this is probably the most likely. The Governor was a fantastic villain. He is incredibly threatening and calculated. This is probably a topic for another video, but Season 3 of The Walking Dead is my favorite season of television, period, and that is due in large part to the Governor. Negan might be my favorite Walking Dead villain, but the Governor definitely was the one that worked the best. He fit so well and was the perfect villain to counter our group. So in this arc, what would I want to see? Firstly, I want to see what the Governor was referencing when he said that they started as people hiding in apartments. I want to see how that became the Woodbury we see in Season 3. I'd also love to see how the Governor consolidated power and how Woodbury grew to become the first walled community we were introduced to in the apocalypse. Another arc I would love to see is a 3 or 4 episode arc which would show us how the Season 1 group formed. We would get to see dead characters such as Carl, Lori, Shane, Glenn, Dale, Jim, Morales, T-Dog, and many others, and also still alive characters such as Carol and Daryl. The final episode in this arc would set up where we find them in the first episode. Morales, Glenn, Andrea, Merle, T-Dog, and Jackie would all be heading to Atlanta. Maybe there could be a specific reason they were there, like they were trying to set up a long-distance radio or something like that. We could also see Lori and Shane's budding relationship and their efforts to conceal it. I'd also love to see Carl and Sophia becoming friends and get a better look at Carol and Ed's relationship. I also want to see more pre-apocalypse stuff, like how everyone reacted when reports first started circling that people were coming back from the dead. We could also see how Carl, Lori, and Shane reacted to Rick getting shot. We could see if Lori felt any guilt about leaving Rick in the hospital. In addition, we could see Daryl and Merle's plan to rob the group, and see Daryl start to like the people and start to feel bad. However, this is one of the more unlikely options here, but almost all of these are unlikely, with the exception of the Governor one. Many of these actors either aren't interested in coming back or can no longer portray a character of that age anymore, but we can still hope. The third idea was about Joe and the Claimers, who were featured in the second half of Season 4 of The Walking Dead. If you remember, they were all killed in Season 4 finale by Rick, Carl, Michonne, and Daryl. Rick had killed one of them prior, and they were out for revenge. Daryl was with them for some time after Beth was kidnapped by the people from Grady Memorial Hospital. They also appeared briefly in a webisode in which we learned the journey of the red machete Rick used to kill Gareth. They had a few simple rules. You tell the truth, if you want something you claim it, and you show people in your group respect. It was a very interesting concept, which I would love to explore more and see how they came up with the idea. I would love to see how the group formed. Maybe we could also see what their goal was. I doubt they were just roaming the streets of Georgia aimlessly. I would also love to learn more about Joe as a person. Who was he before the apocalypse? Was he a good or a bad person? This, along with the Governor idea, are the only ones on this list that I think we could actually have a good chance of seeing. I see no reason why they can't, and I think people would want it. The fourth idea on my list would continue the story of a character from Fear the Walking Dead. In Season 1, Madison Clark is the head guidance counselor of her local high school. Once rumors the undead started coming back to life were surfacing, a student named Tobias brings a knife to school. He says that he needs to protect himself. He is there to sound like the characters we were used to in The Walking Dead. He seems to understand how to deal with the walkers. He knows to stay in numbers, stock up on non-perishable food and water, and he keeps a knife with him when he goes to school. The last time we saw him was in Episode 2, after stocking up on food. I would love to see his story continued. He was a fascinating character, and I doubt he comes back to Fear the Walking Dead, so I would love to see him here. I'm not going to get into specifics about what would happen, since I plan on discussing him further in my What I Want from the Future of the Walking Dead Universe video, which should be coming out in a couple of months. I don't think you could use the same actor in the beginning, so I think they should either cast a different actor to play the younger version, or do an animated version, which they said they were considering. This arc would set him up to appear somewhere else, which I will discuss later, in which we could bring back the actor who appeared in Season 1. The last idea I want to discuss is certainly the least likely, since it is very unique. This one episode would be set a very long time in the future, to the point that it seems like modern day. We'd follow a group of college students as they claim to have so much work and a big test upcoming on a class called the Wildfire Virus Apocalypse 101. The test would be on crucial survivors, particularly Rick Grimes and his fellow survivors. This episode wouldn't reveal anything which we haven't seen yet, like if he is alive at the time and how long the apocalypse lasted for. This idea was kind of generated by the book World War Z, which was a similar premise. These kids would be studying flashcards on characters we've seen, places we've seen, and famous battles and wars. This class would be essentially just like any history class students have now. I think this would be an awesome way to show that Rick Grimes and our group have a lasting legacy on the world, and the world does eventually get back to normal. That is it for my list. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment what you think of my list, and what TV shows or movies you want us to discuss next. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.